Hello everybody, we are at the third stage of project management cycle, which is the project planning stage. As we can see, planning consists of three distinct stages, namely we need to define the scope, which includes the determination of the objectives. We define the scope in detail. We provide additional specification to the next stage, which is a breakdown of the task. These consist of a detailed breakdown of each and every task, which is linked to some established milestone, and we determine durations for each of the tasks. Definitely, the task, the scope will have to be linked with the allocation of resources, which is essential. Here we need to assign people to the different tasks, and we need to seek the commitment of these resources to the individual tasks. Planning may be linked to the system theory, where you have some inputs. In our case, you have the contract information, whether it is some drawings, specifications, schedule of quantities, site reports, organization of data, construction methods, or and available resources. Definitely, the planning will be the process, and we have some expected outputs, which is linked to activities, relationship among activities, the method statement, responsibility of each and everybody, how do we report and at what level, the project network diagram, which is very important, and definitely activities duration and activities costs. Some key points to note in project setup and definition: you need to create a project management plan, what we call the PMP. We need to be clear regarding the scope and objectives. Very important aspect, we establish some clear statement of what is to be done. We call it a work breakdown structure, which we will be dealing with in more detail afterwards. We need to establish the risk to be managed, establish cost and duration, and definitely establish resources required. As we can see, all and every part of the cycle, the project management cycle, is important, but sometimes we may consider project planning as the most crucial component of project management. The successful completion of a project largely depends on the effectiveness of project planning. Inaccurate planning estimate may lead to the failure of the project itself. Together with the above, the planning phase, the third phase in our cycle, consists of four additional, or we won't say supplementary, but complementary stage that need to be considered. We have the resource planning, work breakdown structure I just mentioned before, the project schedule development, and definitely some quality assurance plan. The different steps of project planning include: firstly, we need to highlight the project goals and objectives. It involves defining the desired output of a project together with identification of the needs and expectations of stakeholders. Secondly, we need to highlight the project deliverables. Involves listing the things that need to be delivered to customers within the time allocated, followed by developing the project schedule. Here we record the tasks that need to be performed for each project deliverable. The project schedule states the sources and amount of time required to complete the task. And fourthly, developing the supportive plans, which include human resource plan, communication plan, and risk management plan. Here we can see just a cycle of the different plans that need to be created during that stage of planning. We create some project plan, resource plan, financial plan, quality plan, risk plan, acceptance plan, communication plan, procurement plan, contract with the supplier, and definitely perform the phase review. All these are essential components depending on the type of project that we have at hand. Project planning tools. In fact, the project manager develops the project plan by using various tools and techniques. These techniques help in improving the existing processes of an organization. First one, plus minus interesting. We call it the PMI. It is a valuable tool used to weigh the pros and cons of decision taken to carry a project. PMI identifies the positive and negative impact of selected course of action on a project goal. We can compare positive and negative outcomes and neutral path. If the total score of positive outcomes exceed the negative outcomes, the course of action is then taken. Secondly, we have the cost-benefit analysis. It is a tool to assess the costs involved in a particular project path and compare them with the estimated benefits. If the total cash outflow, that is benefit, is greater than the total cash inflow, the cost, the line of action of the project is approved, or else it is rejected. The force field analysis by Kurt Lewin. It identifies the negative and positive forces associated with a particular project. It is a well-detailed tool. Normally here it is just brief in 2 or 3 lines. We have the cash flow forecast, which help to determine the future financial liquidity and profitability of a project over a fixed period of time. You have a cash flow forecast that is used to assess the effect of time on cost and revenue of a project. It also helps in managing the unnecessary expenses. Some key points we need to mention in project planning. Just to mention again, recognize that adequate project planning is essential. Produce a sound work breakdown structure. Use the framework provided by the project management plan template as far as possible. Involve the right people. Allow enough time, and definitely be systematic. Project planning relies on some project organization. It is a structure that is designed for successful execution of a project. It provides a complete framework for a project and ensures that the project is arranged in a manageable structure. The complexity of the project is structured and the sequence of the project activities is defined. We have 3 groups of individuals involved in a project. The directors of project, individual who provide strategic direction, that is project manager, project secretariat, permanent secretary or his or her assistant. You have the project team, group of individuals who are assigned duties to complete a project within the stipulated time. You have steering committees, comprises of organizational peers, clients, stakeholders who provide strategic direction to the project. The project team is a group of individuals working together to achieve a common goal. It is formed by a project manager for a certain period of time, and as the project progresses, the impact of the project team on the project also increases. Project team development follows a sequence like group development, team development. We have first stage, which start with forming, storming, norming, performing and adjourning. These are the 5 main stages in development of a team for specific project. Project management team, it consists of individuals who are the members of the project team and are dynamically involved in the project management activities and decisions. It plays an important role in the project planning process by assisting the project manager while making planning decisions such as how the project plan should be developed, what resources would be required to support the project, is there any software required, what kind of responsibilities to be assigned to each team member, what contributions should be made towards cost, time and performance, and what should be the outcomes of planning process. Responsibilities of the project management team: firstly, to manage the key personnel to accomplish the goals and objectives of the project, managing within the budget, supports the project manager, communicate with different stakeholders, ensures the timely delivery of the products and or services. Key resources. The resources are the sources of aid required to complete the project. A project manager shall make judicious use of resources to avoid any wastage. As mentioned before, one of the tools for project management, we have the work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure is the foundation for effective project planning, costing and management. It is the most important aspect in setting up a project. It is the foundation on which everything else builds. A work breakdown structure is a hierarchical, starting from general to specific, tree structure of deliverables and tasks that need to be performed to complete a project. We can see the elements of a work breakdown structure, starting with drawings, estimate, bill of material, contracts, cost reports, schedule, and facility services, amongst others. An example of a work breakdown structure, normally for defining and organizing the total scope of a project, the work breakdown structure has proved to be a very helpful tool. First two levels in the diagram on your side define a set of plan outcomes that collectively and exclusively represent 100% of the project scope. Then we have a subsequent level or levels which represent 100% of the scope of their parent node, as we can see in the diagram on the side. The steps for constructing a work breakdown structure is quite simple. Firstly, divide the project into major objectives. Then partition objectives into activities, followed by division of the activities with missing characteristic into sub-activities, and then we repeat above until all sub-activities have desired characteristic. We'll end up with the lowest sub-activities, which are the basis of work packages. The lowest level of the work breakdown structure is the work package. The work package can be clearly defined, allowing package to be costed, scheduled, and resourced. Work package contains a list of tasks to be performed that form the basis for the schedule. Work package allows assignment of responsibilities. Work breakdown structure allows hierarchical build-up of costs and schedule. Cost and schedule can be reported at any level of the work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure facilitates strong management during project execution with proper management of costs and schedule under control. The work breakdown structure can be used for many other things like document management, risk management, amongst others. While doing the project plan, we need to focus also on scheduling. Schedules or task duration can have a wide variation. There is no unique answer, rather there is a statistical variation depending on the different assumptions. We need to understand the basis of scheduling. It is most challenging, most likely, absolute certainty. Most people are very optimistic, but we need to be careful when we are dealing with projects. Project planning estimation is an important component of project planning. The purpose of estimation are scheduling the tasks, evaluation of the duration and costs, tracing the progress, establish project baseline for future requirements, implementing the disciplines to ensure the success of the project. Some planning estimation tools that are most popular. You have the task breakdown, parametric estimation, structured planning, Delphi techniques, educated assumption, dependencies identification, task examination. Estimation tools, the tools for budget and cost estimation are expert opinion, analogy, decomposition, and estimation equations. While for the duration, in order to estimate task duration, you have analogy, expert advice, nominal group technique. One common project management tool, PERT chart, designed to analyze and represent the tasks involved in completing a given project. You have the Gantt chart, which is a popular type of bar chart that illustrates a project schedule. The bar chart is another project management tool which was used in the past and still being used today. The Gantt chart we mentioned before in more detailed stages and steps, which define the task and the exact duration. The schedule, we have planning, that is identification of the sequence of events necessary to complete the project. Linked with scheduling, which is the determination of timing and assembly of project activities to give overall completion time. Scheduling a project requires the help of different mathematical models. Some techniques include critical path method, project evaluation review technique, the PERT we mentioned before, and also the Gantt chart. Project scheduling, which is one of the most important functions in the implementation stage, where all activities cannot be started simultaneously. Project scheduling establishes a logical sequence among the different activities. It mentions the sequence of activities that need to be followed throughout the implementation phase. Developing a project network A project network is a visual representation of different individual activities in a logical sequence by using arrows and nodes. A project consists of a number of different activities. The distinct tasks are known as activities. You will see that each activity consumes resources and have identifiable beginning and ending. Some activities cannot be started before the completion of their predecessors, while some activity can occur simultaneously. An example of the critical path is given in the slide here. You are required to draw the network of the project. The information given in the slide here will be helpful for the example. You will have to use the activities and duration to construct your network. I will advise that all of you make a trial, and you will see the answer is given in the next slide. As you can see in front of you, you have the answer to the first example. Here you are told to draw only the network for the project. There is no mention of the critical path analysis, and the diagram gives you a detailed path for completion of the example given above. Estimation of time. Each and every activity of a project needs to be assigned an estimated time for completion after the sequence of the activities is established in the network. The method used is a mathematical derivation, which is most objective method of estimating time. We normally use the critical path which identifies project priorities. It shows activity relationships, enables schedule analysis, reflects project strategy, and promotes teamwork. The exercise you have in front of you deals with project schedule and critical path. I will advise that you work out the exercise carefully. You will have the solution in the following slides. Thank you. The information given in this slide in front of you will be helpful for tackling exercise 1, and you are advised to draw the network, but this time with the time also, and to identify the critical path. The solution of the exercise 1 is given in front of you. You can note that the longest path is the critical path, that is ACEG, which requires 13 weeks for completion. Now you are in a better position to work out the second example. Spend some time reflecting on the given activity and duration, and try to work out the critical path again. The slide in front of you gives you the solution for example 2. The expected project completion time is 22, which is the critical path, that is 3 plus 10 plus 6 plus 3, which gives you 22. It is normally along the path A, B, E, F and H. It is good to note that the critical path is the longest path of activities on the network and contains all critical activities. Any delay in the completion of a critical activity will cause a delay in the completion of the project. The PERT is another model for scheduling and analyzing different activities involved in a project. Since most of the activities come with an uncertainty, because we can have a number of outside factors, for example, machine breakdown, late arrival of materials, absence of employees, PERT uses a beta probability distribution based on 3 times estimates for an activity. Firstly, you have optimistic time, pessimistic time, and most likely time, which forms an integral part for calculation of the PERT. The expected activity completion time is given by formula. PERT is the probability that the project will be completed within the due date. Project planning estimation. The basis is accurate estimation. Planning estimation is the process of forecasting time, budget and resources required to complete a project. Planning estimation is performed using various techniques depending upon the nature of the project. To summarize what we discussed during that particular session, some popular methods of planning: you have task breakdown, parametric estimation, structured planning, Delphi method, educated assumption, dependencies identification, task examination, result documentation, and historical data examination, amongst others. Planning estimation to be based on expert judgment, consulting with experts from various sections, division of the organization, past experience, comparing the present project activities with similar projects completed in the past, task decomposition, breaking the project activities into smaller tasks or work packages. Estimation is a very important task, and it has for main purpose the following: supporting the profitable decision, scheduling the task, evaluation of the duration and cost of the project, tracing the progress of the project, developing the cash flow needs, establishing the project baseline for future requirements, and implementing the disciplines that ensure success of the project. We have reached the end of the third session. I will advise that you read and work out the 2 exercises given in the slides. The solutions are there. If you have any query or need any clarification, you may contact me by email. I will be very happy to help you. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.